Yes, so the movie was absolutely awesome. So that's the answer to the statement or question on the thumbnail. But let's go a bit more in depth into the movie. So I will do a bit of a spoiler-free review first for all of you who have not seen it yet. And then afterwards, we will do a spoiler review where I also will talk about some book stuff. And we'll just see where it goes. And I will just wing this as I always do with these things. But yeah, so all in all, the movie is extremely pulling you in by addressing or by almost overloading, I would say, all of your senses. That's what I felt like. The density of information in the images seemed so high, and even when there were like just shots of Arrakis, of the desert, like there was this feeling of like there's so much I'm currently seeing, and it was truly a very, very, very good, like brilliant experience. But I also felt very, very drained after watching it, and it was the same with Dune 1. And if you've seen my Dune 1 review, you know I said the same thing there. So you should really like you should have gotten some sleep before watching this movie. Like you shouldn't be tired or anything, because it will really take you down a 2.5 hour ride. That's a hell of a ride, but after that you will feel exhausted if you really like immerse yourself into it. And like, it's not even something I actively did. I was just pulled into the movie. It was just as if I was on Arrakis with the characters, with everything, and I just absolutely loved it. So I think it was not too long, though it was such a weird feeling. When I watched it, it was long, and I knew it was long, and because I knew the book, I knew like when we were like halfway done or something like that, and I was like, wow, this felt so long, but not in a bad way. It was a bit like, for me with the Snyder Cut, where I was like sitting through it and I was like, wow, it's really long, but I love it. I enjoy every second of it. And same for this movie. So the visuals are probably gonna go down because in not in history perhaps, but in movie history, because there were some effects that were just so breathtakingly awesome, and I feel they've never been done before in this scope and in this brilliance and in this realistic way, even though they were probably CGI. And I really have to commend Villeneuve, of course, for everything he did. Like the shots, the way the scenes were done, the order, like the sequences were all very, very, very awesome. And just for the visual component alone, this movie is something you should go to see. The music, of course, again, Hans Zimmer does a great job, I felt, and it complemented it even a bit more than in the first movie. Although I missed the Bene Gesserit theme, because I loved that in the first movie, and I think it did not really play in this one. I guess that was a bit of a spoiler, but yeah. So new characters were introduced. They were introduced marvelously, I felt. We had some older characters that we had more time with, and I loved that as well. Like, for example, let's take Paul. Paul does a very great journey in this movie. I really enjoyed what they did with him. I can't say a lot about the acting, because I have to admit I kind of had to watch it in German, because some friends I went into the movie with, they were like a lot more comfortable with German, and one of them hadn't seen Dune 1 and hadn't read the book. So I think he would have been probably completely lost had we watched it in English. So we watched it in German. It was a very good dub. I didn't feel anything was lost, but probably there was a lot of like lost. I know from previous experiences that can happen. So I can't say a lot about the like intonations of the actors, but the facial expression and the actions, they were all very well portrayed, I felt. There is an ending to the movie. It was a bit quick as well. Like, I felt the ending, there was a very quick ending. And there was some stuff in the movie where I felt that could have been expanded on more, and some stuff in the movie that I felt was a bit too much of that stuff. But all in all, it was very well used time. Like generally, all the plot beats landed. We had some very awesome action sequences. We had some very awesome calm sequences, and as I said, the CGI practical effects were so on point that you couldn't tell them apart most of the time. And that is really a testament to filmmaking here as well. So would I recommend it? Hell yes, watch it. I will probably watch it again as well. Like, that's so good. I can't wait to watch it again. And yeah, I would probably give it 10 out of 10. I would. There are flaws, and I will talk about them more in the next part that's coming up. But all in all, I'm not the guy who's like, yeah, there was a flaw, it's not a 10 anymore. I know everything has flaws. So like the flaws were in no way hindering my enjoyment of this and my marveling at everything. So it was a brilliant, brilliant movie. And yeah, go watch it if you haven't seen it. And now we go into the spoiler territory and go a bit more in depth into the characters and some of the plot beats and stuff. So let's start with Paul. I felt Paul was pretty well used in this movie. I mean, he is the main character, but he wasn't like on screen all the time, of course. He didn't feel to have a too big presence. I loved the scenes where he talked to, and again, spoiler part, to the Fremen. I love the part where he was like telling them, "No, I'm not gonna kill Stilgar." Like, no, he said, one of our best warriors. I love that scene so much, and you really felt that he became this Fremen messiah almost already. And then when he had the when he woke up again from the water of life, he was risen from the dead, like of course Jesus was. And we had a lot of religious undertones with him, especially through the Bene Gesserit shenanigans, which I loved. And yeah, like that was really good. Like Timothy probably did a very good job. Like I couldn't see his I couldn't hear his dialogue, how he delivered it, but his facial expressions were very cool, and like his body language also was pretty cool. So I really enjoyed Paul. Chani's the biggest change, I think, like the second biggest change from the books, because Chani actually is not on Paul's side really, and she is his counterpart. Like she's almost like his antagonist. I would almost consider, not in this movie, but I feel she will be the antagonist of the next movie. Chani will be the antagonist of the next movie, which is an interesting choice. I didn't mind it. I think people will really hate it, some, but I really loved it because it gave Chani more to do. I still hope they will, in the end, in Messiah, go together again and be like the wonderful romantic couple that they were in the book. I'm joking a bit because, yes, the romance was told to us and not really shown a lot, but it was shown, and it was when it was shown, it was very cool in the books. Chani was one of my favorite characters in the books as well, so I really like that she gets more to do other than be like, yeah, Paul's the greatest. The actress did a pretty well, like she did a good job there, and I like that there was this youthfulness in her character when dealing with the prophecy stuff. Like it's what I would expect. Like let's say there is a priest who's like, yeah, the Messiah will come back, and like the children out like they was like, no, old man, no, never, I don't believe it. Of course, it's bullshit. And she was like this character. There were other characters with her that were like that, but I liked that addition. It was like she tried to. She understood that something very bad was going on with Paul. I did not like, though, I have to say that Paul and Chani did not really talk enough about the jihad. Like, that really was one of the... I think that was my main criticism of the book, of the movie, that the jihad was not prepared, I felt. Like, they really let me down on that front, and I was really sad about that, because in the Part 1, the jihad parts were the best part of the movie in June 1. And here they ignored it basically. Like it was in the end, like, no, the Holy War will start. At least in German they said Holy War. So no, the Holy War will start. Like, so they started it, and Stilgar runs into one ship and they take off, and that's it. And we didn't even get cool jihad visions for Paul. It was always just Jessica running through some like running through like 5 people that were on the ground like hungry or something. Like that felt really flat to me. It just didn't land, and I really felt that the struggle Paul had with ushering in this darkness, it was there before he went to the waters of life a bit. But I think they should have done more with that theme, because that is the main theme of, I would argue, the first 3 books. Paul coming to terms with what this means, this Kwisatz And yeah, it was more like he was a bit sad, then he got a pep talk, and then he was suddenly badass. Like, yes, he drank the water of life, but I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, I think that was my only gripe as well. I laughed, and I also think that it will probably be controversial. Perhaps, first of all, I loved the Jessica stuff. Like, Jessica was only in like 5 scenes. I felt a bit more, perhaps like 10 scenes, but she nailed it. Like Rebecca Ferguson, she nailed that so bad. Like, well, whatever you say. I loved that. And the parts where Alia starts talking to her in the womb, that was horror stuff. I loved like those scenes were so scary, and I loved it. I was sitting in my seat. Yo, this is so awesome. This is exactly how it should be done. And her like whispering to Alia, so brilliantly done. And I absolutely loved that Alia was not yet born. Like they shortened the time skip that happens, so they had to deal with it some ways. And I loved that, because now we don't get the weird child actress that they would have had to hire to do the stuff she does. Like I'm sad that she doesn't end the Baron, but I guess because we won't get part a Children of Dune, so we don't get that storyline. We don't need to prepare it here, so it's fine. And I love the what's her name? Anne Taylor-Joy. I'm sorry, the actress is I like her a lot. Like, she was awesome in Queen's Gambit. And she did a cameo as Alia grown up when Paul drank the water of life. I loved that so much. I was like, that's a brilliant casting. I see what you did. That's awesome. Can't wait to see that next movie. When they will presumably have a time skip. And yeah, that stuff was awesome. Like, the Alia stuff was awesome. I love that Paul ended the Baron. It somehow fit as well. And the Baron like crawling to the throne he always wanted, and like dying 5 feet away. Awesome stuff. Died like an animal. Was a bit weird that the he's your uncle thing was put in. Like, yes, I know that Paul's Harkonnen part, but it was a bit like, it was just an info dump, and then the only time it came up again was when Paul killed the Baron. Like, it was just in 2 scenes, and characters didn't really talk about it. But it was a nice nod to the book reader, I think. And I really enjoyed that. Fate Water was awesome. Like, holy shit, Fate Water was so awesome. Raban was also so awesome. Those two were like the Harkonnens, in the Harkonnen camp, those two were really standouts. Like, Batista did some awesome acting. The scene where Fate Water forces him to kiss his boots because now he's the master of Arrakis. That was so cool. Yeah, there were some gimmicky things I didn't mind. I loved them, actually. Sometimes I love gimmicky things, like, for example, Gurney killing Radan, like meeting him and like just killing him, or let's just kill our advisors all the time because we're evil. It just fits. Sometimes I hate it because it's cliche, but here it really fit really well with the Harkonnen just being evil, and that clearly fucked them so badly. Like, that was portrayed so well. Normally it's like, oh, I'm evil, I will like stab my own people and that will have no repercussions, but they were like, they wasted away like the animals they were, and I loved that, all of them. Geardy Prime stuff in general was very well done. Fenric, unfortunately, was only in like 3 scenes. Like, she just got impregnated by Fate Water. And I love the addition of so there is Countess Fenric goes in with Fate Water into his room, uses Bene Gesserit stuff, and does the Kwisatz Haderach tests on him. And it was a nice addition as well. I love that. Shaddam was like in 3 scenes. I think Christopher Walken did a pretty well job of the broken old fool emperor. That was awesome. Irulan was also. I can't wait for Irulan next movie as well. The actress nailed it so bad, like so well. It's so good. Love that they use her like in some scenes. She speaks to this diary recorder, and it's like a nod to the book again with her dialogues at the starts of the chapters. That was also so cool. And actually, something they might do next movie is like switch Irulan and Chani's roles, with Irulan being the one behind Paul and Chani being the one against him. Because again, they don't need to do children, they can change stuff. And with that in mind, when they're like, yes, this is the universe, it's only going to be up to Messiah, and then like nothing after that, we'll do nothing with that. It's just like modify the story a bit to be more a 3-parter. Even though I always would argue that Dune and Dune Messiah are like one book. So I get that. But if they want to like subvert that a bit, use Chani as the one that is more Irulan and like, you know, switch that around, I would feel like that would be fun. Let's see how they do it. Because I just love the Irulan actress. Like she that was so much fun. And she had this, because Irulan always had this aura of control about her, even though she never seemed on the surface to be in control in scenes. Like she was always like, the Bene Gesserit basically treated her like a puppet. And again, in the books, that's what she basically became. And so I hope they like kind of subvert that. And I know I hate that word nowadays, but it was a good change, I thought. So yeah, Chani is now off hating Paul and trying to bring him down. So perhaps she even creates the Duncan Gola or something next movie. That would also be so fricked. But yeah, Moyam was there. She was fine as well. Again, most of the side character actors were awesome. But something as well, like, it wasn't bad, it was very awesome, but I felt the Baron was really underused in the movie. The Baron was really underused. So we have a political scene, I think, with the Baron where we have a scene with the Baron where he slaughters like 5 slave boys or girls, whatever. And then he's like bathing. And that's like he's mad that Rabban cannot control Arrakis. And the next scene is already him in the arena, like looking down and like, I didn't drug the slave. And then the next scene is, I think, he has I think non-dialogue scene where he appoints Rabban to the Arrakis leader in the intro. But then it's almost already the end of the movie where he's like calling the Landsrat because the Emperor wants to kill him. Because he freaked up Arrakis stuff, because his family couldn't control it. So the Emperor, I think he wants to kill the Baron, and the Baron's like, I tell everyone that you attacked Atreides. And then, like, in the end, the ships come off the Landsrat and are like, hey, guys, could you not? But they already killed themselves. So, and then the Baron just dies. Like, it's just taken to the king and to the Emperor and dies. I mean, it fits kind of like... he's brought before a leader or something like superior as well and gets slaughtered the same way Leto was. But I don't know, like Skarsgård, like, because like I know what a brilliant actor he is, and I would have loved a bit more barony stuff. But anyway, Stilgar was probably my favorite character. Stilgar, holy shit, the way they did that, the way they did his faith stuff as well, and the way they incorporated Islamic themes into the Fremen culture, which is like, I think what Herbert had in mind, and it was, or Persian, I loved that. It was so well done. The Fremen in this movie were done to perfection. The fight scenes with them were awesome as well. Like they had the very quick moves and stuff. It's probably not how you would fight, but I really did love that. Yeah, I think is that all. I think that was all the characters. So all in all, I really enjoyed all of them a lot. And everyone, they kind of had stuff to do. Some people I wished would have had more stuff to do. But then again, it's like always limited movie time. I did think, though, that the relationship between Paul and Charlie was in parts a bit too drawn out. Like too much focus on that and not enough focus on the Holy War, as I said. Like that should have been their big thing. Like they should speak about that. Like use the words Holy War or Jihad. Because in the end it's said once and it's like with this big sound in the end, and you are supposed like, and I felt that because I read the books. I was like, wow, it's gonna start. But I think if you didn't read the books, it was like, okay, now they start war. Okay, what does that mean? Why should I care? Like, will they now win? Will they now get shot down? Anyway, let's get to the action stuff. That was like, I think that was the best action I've ever seen in a movie. And you have to watch it in a theater just before the action. When the nukes were fired next to Shaddam's ship and camp, like so they have the Atreides nukes and they fire 3 at them towards Shaddam to confuse him with the nukes and also kill some of his people. But man, the explosion and that's so awesome. And then the warm tide comes, and the warm tide is just like the worms just come in and like just crash into the camp of Shaddam. And the best shot was you riding on the worm, like going into the camp. And man, also the guerrilla stuff was so well done, very well thought out. So we saw like 2 or 3 guerrilla missions that Paul did with the Fremen. And they actually changed the politics a bit, so they created, and it is in the book as well, but they put more emphasis on it, I felt. So they were the Fremen in the north, near Arrakeen, and then there were the south Fremen that no one saw. And the north Fremen were basically then, like, they were fighting back against the harvesting parts, because obviously harvesters don't go to the south, it's it's warm territory too much, and too many sandstorms and stuff. So they fight back against Raban's forces and win against him a lot and like draw him back, and that's pretty cool. Like, and we see some fights there. And then the North Fremen are like, for some reason, Fate Rorter. Yeah, why did Fate Rorter know where Siege Tabor is? He just goes there and bombs it anyway. So for some reason, Fate Rorter knows where Siege Tabor is and just goes there and nukes it. Don't know why Raban didn't do it, but I might have missed it, so let's just say I missed it. So Fate Rorter goes, bombs Siege Tabor, and kills the one woman Chani was with. I think it was Hala or whatever her name is, like Jam's wife. It was her, and she gets like torched by Fate Rorter for some reason. I'm sad about that. I would have loved her in part 3 as well. Brilliant. Like the actress was also pretty cool, I felt. So she was a bit sad that she was killed, but yeah. And so they have the problem of, the North is now taken back by the Harkonnen. So they did some back and forth here. It's not like in the book where it's like, we won. So, and then the South rises with the worms, and Paul just ends them. There was a lot of fun stuff with dialogue when they were with the Fremen. There was a lot of humor. Yeah. Also, I think the last bit already I want to talk about is the intro is so good. I think I liked the intro in Dune a bit more because it was more mysterious. But so the intro is Paul and Jessica and Stilgar and Chani and the others are on the way from the Jamis battle, and they are near a rock. So they like go take cover near the rock. And then the Sardaukar come, and the Sardaukar don't see them, and they go up the rock. And then, because that's the high point, they want to see all the desert to see that there's no one there, and they just get fucking shot like everyone gets shot in the head on the rock and they just fall down, and it's like this ish every time they fall down. So well done. That was such an awesome scene as well. Holy frick. It was like, that's the start, and I was like, okay, this is gonna go down. And I felt it was, the first one was a bit more on the character politics interaction, and this was more about characters and action interaction. I felt a bit like, I don't know if that makes sense. That was the cool, like, and so both the intros fit a lot. We did not see another world other than Arrakis and Girdi Prime. I was a bit sad. We didn't see Guild Navigators. I was a bit sad, but I guess they want to save them for next movie, where we get what's his name, Erich, whatever, like the one. We will get Tleilaxu next movie as well. That's gonna be cool. But yeah, like, it felt like, as both films together, like, such an awesome experience. And other than me being a book reader and thinking that the jihad was a bit underplayed, and that Byron was a bit, for my taste, not enough in the movie, and in the first one as well, he had like 3 scenes, so I'm a bit sad the politics were actually not that much in the movie, and it was more focused on this, the relationship between Chani and Paul, which is in principle not a bad thing. I think that's a brilliant start, but they should, in my opinion, they should have used the Holy War to make the conflict, and they should have named that, and should have really dug into, like, just like 1 or 2 scenes each, like 3 or 4 minutes, where they talk about the ideas behind Paul and why Chani doesn't like them. You know, it's all very like general, like, I have to do this and I am now gonna take revenge. I'm not my father. Like, it was like this very human and not this transcendent Kwisatz Haderach stuff. But anyway, yeah, there's so much good stuff. Like, and the battle scenes, holy shit. Brilliance, beyond brilliance. I hope Villeneuve will do more sci-fi battles or something. Like, that was awesome. Anyway, what did you think of the movie? Would you agree? Would you disagree with stuff? Just tell me in the comments. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, I will see you probably down the line with some more Dune stuff. Latest when Dune 3 movie trailer drops, but I still owe you the Chapter House review, so I will also do that down the line. And yeah, take care. Bye.